Hi everyone. Glad you could join us again for another reading from the Action Bible. Last time we were introduced to Joseph, the son of Jacob, otherwise known as Israel, if you remember when his name changed. Joseph had a gift of dreams, having them and interpreting them. Some of his dreams didn't go over very well with some of his brothers, so they threw him into a pit, and then they sold him. And then right after they sold Joseph, their younger brother, into slavery, they put some blood on his coat and showed it to their father, Jacob. Jacob thinks that his son is dead. But little does he know that he was sold into slavery, and that's where we're going to pick up the story today. So we're going to be on page 94, if you're following along with your Action Bible, and it's called Management Crisis. And we'll see what happens this time in the Action Bible. And so Jacob's favorite son becomes a slave of Potiphar, captain of the king's guard. But Joseph does not beg for pity. He puts his trust in God and holds his head up proudly. Oh God, please help me. How is this in your plan? Soon the spoiled young boy becomes a hard-working young man. Joseph has become my best slave.
He doesn't act like a slave. Tell me more about him.
Some traders brought him from Canaan. He's strong, intelligent too.
Handsome, in the right clothes, he would pass for a prince.
Years pass, and Potiphar eventually makes Joseph manager of all his property. Things are better with Joseph in charge.
He prays every day, asking his God to help him.
But Joseph's success also leads to trouble. Potiphar's wife falls in love with the handsome young slave. One day, while Potiphar is away,
Joseph, come sit beside me and tell me where you come from. Why are you in Egypt?
Thank you, but I have work to finish before Potiphar returns.
Do you always think of Potiphar? He's my master. I won't be disloyal to him or disobey my God. No man can treat me like that and live.
She waits with Joseph's robe in her hands. When Potiphar returns, she greets him with tears in her eyes and a lie on her lips.
Your Hebrew slave tried to kiss me. I screamed and he left, but he dropped his robe. Here, see it?
I'll throw him in prison for this.
Look who we have coming to join us in such fancy clothes. When he's been here as long as I have, he'll forget what it's like to wear such nice clothes.
Falsely accused, Joseph faces his first night in prison, but he is not afraid, and he is not alone, because God is with him. Joseph prays just as he has done every other night of his life.
What God can save him? Leave him alone. He's braver than the rest of us.
One long hot day follows another. The prisoners quarrel over food, water, and the best place to sleep. One day a fight breaks out.
Stop it! Fighting won't make life any better.
Even in prison, God is with Joseph. Through these trials, God is forcing Joseph to learn patience and leadership. When the keeper of the jail discovers that Joseph maintains peace in the prison, he puts Joseph in charge of other prisoners. One day, the king's baker and butler are thrown into prison for offending the king. Both men have dreams that disturb them and come to Joseph for help.
What do you think of my dreams?
In 3 days, your head will be lifted up, and Pharaoh will give you back your high position. You will be the king's butler again, and please, when my words come true, ask Pharaoh to release me from prison. I am an innocent captive. Now tell me what my dream means, like his would be nice.
I'm very sorry. Your dream shows that in 3 days your head will be lifted off. You will be hanged up high by Pharaoh. Joseph's words come true.
3 days later, one man is executed and the other returns to serve the king. But the butler forgets his promise to put in a good word for Joseph. 2 years go by. One day, Pharaoh summons his butler.
No wine for me today. I've had a disturbing dream, and no one in my whole kingdom can tell me what it means.
Pharaoh, I know a Hebrew prisoner who can tell the meaning of the dreams. He explained mine.
Well, what are you waiting for?
The butler wastes no time having Joseph released from prison. Joseph stands before the Pharaoh of Egypt.
Is it true you can tell the meaning of dreams?
I can't, but my God can. Oh, Pharaoh, tell me your dream.
I saw 7 fat cows come out of the Nile River. Then I saw 7 skinny cows come and eat up the fat ones.
God is warning you that there will be 7 years of good crops followed by 7 years of famine. You should appoint a wise officer to store grain during the 7 good years. Then there will be food for everyone during the 7 years of famine.
Who is wiser than you, since God is with you?
Pharaoh quickly calls the officers of his court. As they watch, he puts his own ring on Joseph's finger.
I have put you in charge of all of Egypt as my grand vizier. Only I, Pharaoh, will be greater than you.
Wow. What a story. I mean, my mind is blown. God took him from the pit. He was sold into slavery. Then he was put into prison falsely. He wasn't even really guilty of anything wrong. Then God gives him an opportunity to interpret some dreams. He gives God the glory for it. He ends up standing in front of Pharaoh. He interprets a dream for Pharaoh. Then Pharaoh puts him in charge. So from the pit to one lower than Pharaoh. Like, that's crazy what God can do, isn't it? I think that's what I learned this time from this part of Joseph's story. That God can take you from a very low place and lift you up to a very high place. Another thing, I guess, that I would have learned is that through some hard times, God was helping Joseph to get stronger and learn things that he needed for what he had to do later on. So, what was one thing that you learned today? That's awesome. So share that, like always, share it with somebody. You can comment right down below, or share it with your family, or your friends, or your pets. But keep reading, and I hope you can join us next time as we read more from the Action Bible.